So thanks to my coworker Jose, who's not actually around at the moment, I've been nominated to go to a Christian conference called Gathering. He's actually a sponsor of it. And it's a conference on the Gold Coast for 3 days. It's for 25 to 35-year-old emerging Christian leaders in the marketplace. And its mission is to inspire, connect, and mobilize delegates to live out God's purpose for their lives. But the two things that really make it stand out to me are, one, the mentors they have are phenomenal. So they've got CEOs, execs, lawyers, former rugby league players, digital marketing experts, former deputy prime ministers, former New South Wales premiers, non-for-profit founders. And secondly, I've been on a lot of conferences in my time, but never have I ever had everything paid for but the plane ticket. Yeah, it's sponsored. That's cool and all, but I just have one question. Is this just a Christian summer camp for adults? Bye, Mum. Bye, Mum, my beautiful wife. Love you.
Love you.
The first major difference is obviously transport. We've replaced a long, messy wait for a bus at church with a rather pleasant airport experience. Cold sandwiches to hold you over on the trip have been subbed out for the autonomy of being an adult at a food court. I was going to miss having good chats on the way out with my bus buddy, but turns out my plane neighbour was actually going to see a mega preacher, so that was nice.
Even though the bag may not
The first similarity is that we bunk with people. So there's 2 units with 2 beds each, connected, and yeah, this is my room. It's my roomie, Connor. He's studying
law and international relations.
And these are the bedrooms. So it's definitely an upgrade from double beds and 10 boys crammed in one room, but it's still a little bit cozy. The view is 10 out of 10, and the musky, humid smell is 0 out of 10. So all in all, this is an excellent room. And now we'll go check in. Reggio's done. We've got our little lanyard, which is nice, and we've got our run sheet on the back, which is cool. And already I've met so many crazy different people. Like I met a policeman who's also a youth pastor. I've met someone from Newcastle who's a councilman there. I've met a paramedic from Adelaide and a TV presenter. And I've met the Yes He Is team. But for now, we've got a cocktail dinner, which I'm really hoping is the food style and not the dress, because I'm not really a tux sort of wearing guy, but we'll see. So I found out that it is the food, not the dress, so that's good. Walking to dinner now. I'm filming on my iPhone because I don't want to look like that dude, you know, with a camera. It's better this way. The opening session featured Mike Baird and his journey from banking to seminary to New South Wales Premier and then back to banking, all in the pursuit of his calling.
Every person you meet will remember.
It framed the sessions to come really nicely, actually, and that was day 1. And on to day 2. Breakfast awesome. Similar buffet style to a camp, but definitely an upgrade. No offense, campsites, but do you have 5 different types of chili in your condiment range? And do you have breakfast kombucha at your juice bar? I didn't think so. Although the question of who am I going to sit next to is still very present in camp life. The next session featured former Deputy Prime Minister John Anderson.
Stage, you should be aware as I begin.
And Ruth Limkin gave an excellent psychologist view on burnout and self-care.
And I want you to change our nation and the world.
Electives, yep, we got those too. Thanks, Shannon, for your research on Australia's changing demographic and why I'll never be able to buy a home. And then you guessed it, wouldn't be a conference without small group time with mentors.
I find it really...
Thank you, Rashenda, for the wisdom on taking a leap of faith into launching a business.
As a Christian. I think it's probably a bit easier being the boss than it would be.
And I learned from that one that cost is a science and pricing is an art. That's a practical tip I wouldn't have learnt on camp. Then, 3 hours of free time. Again, doesn't get any easier to work out who you're going to hang out with. But someone tried to set up board games. Thanks, Talia. Surprising though, I don't think it happened, which is very strange for a bunch of Christians. Oh, and dinner. Also very camp-like, but definitely better. I can't say I miss your classic mass-produced chocolate mousse, but I do miss the apple crumble. Oh, and late night DMs, still definitely a thing. Hey, Connor, what are your thoughts on predestination?
Well, you know how we have lanyards to say that we're part of the conference?
Yeah.
It's either going to be we're given a lanyard by God,
Mm-hmm.
or we go and register for a lanyard ourselves.
Okay. Yeah, that makes heaps of sense. Anyway. Sorry, thanks. Good night. I miss bunking with people. So, it's the last day of gathering, which is sad. But our last night was awesome. We had a great last session. There was no talent show or themed party, but I did have a nice glass of wine with Jose in his apartment. So that's a bit of an upgrade. But today I think I'm just looking forward to just the wrap up and seeing how we can take it further into our actual lives and jobs and not just leave it here on gathering. So I'll let you know how that goes. And finally, we got panels and Q&As run by the sponsors of Gathering. It was centered around pursuing our calling. It was just a really nice way to reflect and end Gathering. And I definitely have the camp high mixed with minor exhaustion. What you just saw didn't even scratch the surface of the amazing speakers that spoke, or the people I met, or the amount of coffee I consumed. So back in the office in Sydney, the weather kind of sucks, but yeah, I've had a few days to reflect, and was it like a Christian summer camp for adults? Kind of. I'd say Gathering is more like an evolution of the church camps I went on as a kid. Maybe there's a few less games and injuries, but the experience was really familiar. I even met these guys who played a prank on their room neighbours.
He was sharing a room with another guy that we knew, and they had one of those cool rooms where there's a window between the bathroom and the bedroom. And so we just thought, hey, it could be kind of funny if we took down the blind so that they don't have a way of like blocking it out. And we just told them that there wasn't a blind there. So we straight up lied to him, but anyway.
I knew I saw a blind. That guy's convinced me that there was no blind. I'm like, I'm sure I saw one.
But it's more like a logical progression. At those camps, you'd have a great time, meet a lot of people, play ridiculous games. But I think what really stuck with me through the years were the talks, where I first was inspired to live a life for Jesus. And in my later teen years, using that concentrated time to try and figure out what it actually looked like to live for him. But it was all just theory. Now having a career, Gathering felt a lot more tangible, and instead of leaders who are practically just kids themselves, or the youth pastor, who is always awesome by the way, to look up to mentors who are now professionals with true wisdom to give, that was awesome. Hearing CEOs evangelize to other CEOs, politicians dealing with no-win situations, or digital marketers changing the game by bringing values into marketing, who would have guessed? Or even brand experts trying to figure out how to market the church better. And so I wasn't just inspired, but I had really practical things that I could take from Gathering to come home and try and use the things that I have in my hand right now to pursue my calling and that mission to serve Jesus. But at the end of the day, it is just that same message that I heard all those years ago at church. So I wouldn't call that a huge surprise. Gotta say though, I am definitely looking forward to Gathering next year.